Okay, so today we'll be doing collective nouns, okay? So first of all, right, we need to know that collective nouns will be used to describe a group of people, okay, animals or even things. So basically it would be used to describe a group of your nouns. Okay, so we'll look at the example here, okay? So first one, right, we have musicians. So if you have one musician, right, we can say that this is one person. Okay, but if you have more than one, we don't have to say three musicians or three people. We can just say a band of musicians. So a band, right, will be used to describe more than one musician. Okay, then if you have more than one player, so let's say soccer players, basketball players, right, we can just use a team of players. Okay, and of course we have the last one here, we have an army of soldiers. So whenever you have more than one soldier, we can just put them into one group. Okay, we call them an army of soldiers. So when you put them into a group, right, it will mean that you're looking at them as a group like this, as a whole. Okay, so we call this an army of soldiers. Okay. Okay. So looking at groups of animals, right, we will have a flock of birds. So we have more than one bird, okay? So we will use a flock of birds. And if you have more than one wolf, we will say a pack of wolves. So to take note, right, whenever you put people, animals, or your things in a group, over here, right, your animals or your people or the things, right, they must be in plural form. Plural form meaning there is more than one. So a flock, right, already tells you that this is a group. So we cannot say a flock of bird. So bird is wrong because bird is just one bird. Okay, so we have to say a flock of birds. Okay, so over here, we'll have your S to show that it is more than one bird. Okay, then we also have a pack of wolves. So over here, we also need to change it to plural, okay, to show that there's more than one. Moving on, we have collective nouns being used for groups of things. So if you have a bit, you have more than one bead, right? So we can use it in the group. Okay, so we can say a string of beads. So same thing over here, right? We realize that the beads, right, will be more than one. So we need to have S. Okay, then we have a bunch of flowers. So more than one flower, same thing with S. Okay, then we'll use a bunch. Okay, so we start with exercise 1, right? So for exercise 1, so we look at question 1 to 5. So we'll just draw a line, right, to join them together, okay? So over here, we have a collection of. So collection will be used with things that you can collect. So in this case, right, we use with a collection of stamps, okay, because we can collect stamps. Okay. So number 2, right, we'll have a shore of. So shore will be used with fish. So meaning a group of fish, okay, with more than one fish. Then the third one, we have a flock of. So flock will be used with sheep. So again, more than one sheep. Okay. Then number 4, we have a brood of chickens. So we have one chicken, two chickens, but if you have more than one or two chickens, right, in a group, we call it a brood of chickens. Okay, then the last one, a pack of cards. Okay, following up. Okay, so once we're done with this, we can move on to exercise 2. So we have swarm, gaggle, crew, litter, and nest. Okay, so look at the first one, right? We have something of geese. So this will be actually goose, okay? So one goose, but we have 3 here, so we have 3 geese. So over here, we will use a gaggle of geese. Okay, this is a group of geese. Then the second one, we have 3 rabbits or bunnies over here, right? So we can put rabbits or bunnies. So we say that this is a nest of rabbits or bunnies. Okay. The third one, we have over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, correct? So 6 dogs or puppies. Okay, so these are young dogs, okay, so puppies. So we say they are a litter of puppies. Okay, litter, right, can be used for either puppies or kittens. Okay, so we have a litter of puppies here. Question 4, we have 3 sailors over here. Okay, so if you notice there's some seawater over here, this is on a ship, okay? So they are sailors. So we will call them a crew of sailors. Okay. And the last one, right, we'll see there's bees over here, right? Okay, so bees, we will use a swarm of bees. Okay, that's the last unused word. So a swarm of bees. Okay, if we're done with this page, we can go on to the next one. Okay, so look at all the words here, right? So over here we have army, band, choir, pride, bunch, fleet, comb, and a gang. Okay, so let's look at the first one, right? So first one over here, right, we have musicians again, okay? So over here, musicians will be on your notes earlier on. So this is musicians. Sorry, the musician. Okay, just put aside. Okay. So musicians, right? We'll have a band of musicians. Okay, over here, a band of musicians. Okay, then over here we have bananas. So bananas is over here also. So we can use the correct collective noun for bananas will be a comb of bananas. Okay, then over the third one, question 3, we have a something of lions. So lions, we will use a pride of lions. Okay. So we go on to our last page, right? Okay, so we have something of flowers, right? So for flowers, we will use a bunch of flowers. So sometimes, right, we use a bouquet of flowers also. Okay, so for this question, we just use bunch since it's in our helping words. Then we have and something of soldiers. So look at over here, right? And is an article, correct? So whenever you see and, right, you have to take note that and can only be used for words that begin with either A, E, I, O, or U. Okay? So for soldiers, we will use an army of soldiers. Then you'll realize that army starts with A, right? So A is over here. Okay, so an army of soldiers. Okay, so again, we have to be careful. Okay, so take note of the flowers with S, soldiers with S. So all these with S at the back, right, tells you that it's more than one. So this is a group. Okay, so an army of soldiers. However, for over here, right, the bunch, army, all these will be in singular, meaning without S or without the plural form, because you're just looking at one group. So an army means one army only, but in one army, right, there will be more than one soldier. So an army of soldiers. Okay. So number 6, right, we have a fleet of ships. Okay, so a group of ships will be called a fleet of ships. Okay, question 7, we have singers over here. So we call them a choir of singers. Okay, all these words will be taken from your helping words in the previous page, okay, on the previous page. Then the last one, we have robbers. So robbers or thieves, right, we will use a gang of robbers or a gang of thieves. Okay, thief will be the people who steal things, okay? So a gang of robbers. Okay. So there will be a lot of other nouns which when put into a group, right, we will use different collective nouns, okay? So just to be sure, right, we have to remember the few on this worksheet first, okay? Okay, then that's it for collective nouns today.